In the glittering world of early 2000s pop music, Britney Spears was untouchable, a global icon, a chart-topping phenomenon, and one of the most photographed women on earth. But behind the flashing lights and screaming fans, her personal life was spiraling into chaos. And at the center of that storm stood one man, Kevin Federline. Their whirlwind romance, shocking marriage, and public divorce became the stuff of tabloid legend. For years, Kevin was branded the gold digger, the backup dancer who supposedly used Britney for fame and fortune. But now, almost 2 decades later, Kevin Federline is speaking out in his upcoming memoir, You Thought You Knew. For the first time, he's revealing the truth about how much money he actually received after divorcing Britney, and why. As he puts it, that money didn't stretch as far as you'd think. It all began in 2004 when Britney met Kevin at a Hollywood party. At the time, Britney was one of the most famous women in the world, and Kevin was a dancer trying to make a name for himself. Sparks flew instantly. Within just a few months, the two were inseparable, appearing hand in hand on red carpets and tabloids across America. Fans were shocked Kevin had recently broken up with his ex, Shar Jackson, who was pregnant with his second child. The public wasn't kind, but Britney didn't care. She was in love, and for the first time in years, she said she felt free. By September 2004, Britney and Kevin were married in a secret ceremony in Studio City, California. Cameras captured every move they made. Their reality show, Britney and Kevin, chaotic, gave fans an unfiltered look into their life together. But the fairy tale didn't last. Britney's fame was massive, her schedule relentless, and Kevin's transition from dancer to husband of a megastar came with its own challenges. Rumors of partying, jealousy, and arguments started to swirl. By 2006, after 2 children and endless public scrutiny, Britney filed for divorce, and that's when the real drama began. When Britney Spears filed for divorce in November 2006, the entire world tuned in. What followed was one of the most public and painful celebrity separations of the decade. Britney's mental health was under constant media surveillance, while Kevin was accused of exploiting her fame. But now, Kevin claims there was much more to the story. In his new book, he details how the divorce settlement wasn't the financial jackpot people assumed. According to Federline, he was granted $20,000 per month in child support for their 2 sons, Sean and Jaden, and an additional $20,000 per month in spousal support for part of their 2-year marriage. On paper, it sounds like a fortune. Some outlets even reported he walked away with a $100 million to $1.3 million lump sum. But Kevin says that figure doesn't tell the real story. It didn't stretch as far as you'd think, he writes. Raising 2 children in Los Angeles with private schools, security, housing, and the expectations of fame cost far more than anyone imagined. People thought I was set for life, he adds. But the truth is, everything went back into taking care of my kids. Meanwhile, Britney's personal struggles worsened. In 2007, she famously shaved her head, lost custody of her children temporarily, and entered a 13-year conservatorship under her father, Jamie Spears. Kevin became the primary caregiver for their boys. A role, he says, came with enormous pressure. I wasn't just their dad, he writes, I was their protector. Over the years, Britney's child support payments reportedly increased, at one point reaching $40,000 per month, especially after the kids began living primarily with Kevin in Hawaii. But even that financial arrangement eventually ended. In late 2024, after 17 years, Britney made her final child support payment, officially closing that chapter of their shared life. Kevin, however, insists it was never just about money. I wanted stability, he says, and I wanted my sons to grow up safe, even if the world never saw me that way. Now, nearly 2 decades after their split, Kevin's memoir is reigniting old wounds. The book doesn't just discuss money, it dives deep into the emotional chaos of their marriage. One of the most shocking claims is that during some of Britney's lowest mental health moments, Kevin alleges she would stand outside their son's bedroom, holding a knife. The claim has been met with outrage from Britney's fans, and her representatives have called the story hurtful and deeply misleading. Britney's team says Kevin is exploiting her name for publicity, especially as she works to rebuild her life after the conservatorship ended in 2021. But Kevin insists his goal isn't to attack Britney, it's to tell his side of a story that's been misunderstood for years. I've been painted as the bad guy for almost 2 decades, he says in the book. But people forget I was there, living through the chaos. I saw what fame did to both of us. He describes moments of fear, confusion, and guilt for not being able to help Britney and fear for how public scrutiny affected their children. He says the book isn't revenge, it's closure. Still, every excerpt released so far has sparked debate across social media. Some say Kevin is finally reclaiming his narrative, while others believe he's using the past to stay relevant. Either way, his words have once again pulled both him and Britney into the public spotlight they once tried to escape. Today, Britney Spears and Kevin Federline live completely different lives. Britney continues to heal, focusing on writing, dancing, and reclaiming her independence. She's spoken about wanting peace, to live away from the cameras and the endless speculation. Kevin, on the other hand, lives in Hawaii with his wife and children, keeping a much lower profile. Despite the years of tension, he says he still wishes Britney happiness and stability. "We share two incredible sons," he wrote, "and no matter what happened between us, that's something I'll always be grateful for." Their story, filled with fame, love, heartbreak, and money, serves as a haunting reminder of how brutal Hollywood can be. The fairy tale that started with two young people in love became a public battleground, dissected by millions. Britney was portrayed as the fallen princess, Kevin as the opportunist. But in truth, their lives were far more complicated. Behind the tabloid headlines were two people simply trying to survive the pressures of fame, parenthood, and public judgment. As the dust settles once again, one thing is certain: Kevin Federline and Britney Spears will forever be linked not by money or scandal, but by two sons and a story the world will never forget. And whether fans believe Kevin's version or Britney's, the truth lies somewhere between the spotlight and the silence that follows when the cameras finally fade away.